dominant strains, they will drive higher transmission rates into another very bad wave, fueling an unpredictable stage of the pandemic. Because the UK variant alone is between 50 and 70% more transmissible. These new COVID variants are emerging because, as more of the human population becomes immune, the selection pressures are changing, so that in this worst-case scenario, these changes are pushing the virus to become resistant to the immune cells generated by the currently available vaccines. While it is possible for scientists to quickly make booster shots for some of the virus variants, we've seen how long it takes them to get them distributed to the entire population. And as cases of COVID increase, so too will the number of mutations, such that the British variant should be the dominant virus strain in the United States by March. In addition to a higher rate of transmissibility, studies are finding that people immune to the original COVID-19 can still get reinfected with these variants. And so scientists are saying that we should be alarmed because the vaccine is going to be less effective against these variants. Scientists found in a study of people who were immune to COVID-19 that about half of them showed no immunity to the new variant, and the other half showed a reduced immunity, which adds to the evidence that these mutations and others yet to emerge are escaping our protections. In the case of the South Africa variant, it seems to reduce the effectiveness of the antibodies at least tenfold, and in many cases, completely. Scientists have also found that the UK variant, now present in at least 22 US states, set to become the dominant variant by March, is also more deadly. But the mutations causing the UK variant to become more deadly and more transmissible are also showing up in the other emerging variants. The P1 strain, for example, from Brazil, has evolved the same mutation, allowing it to reinfect the entire previously immune population. So in at least 3 cases, on 3 separate continents, the variants in South Africa, UK, and Brazil have each independently evolved to take on the same mutations, making them both more transmissible and more deadly, in a phenomenon known as convergent evolution. So because virus strains in separate locations are converging on these same mutations that also give them resistance to vaccination, it suggests that we're beyond the point where border closures will be able to slow the spread. Now I'll conclude this news brief with a graphic representation of why these new convergent mutations are so problematic. So if a hypothetical community is recording a consistent 1,000 cases per month, then the outbreak is neither growing nor shrinking. If in that community the virus becomes 50% more transmissible, then 1 month later, 10 times more people will be infected. From those infections, you would expect 129 deaths. If 10,000 people in a community are infected, but the virus is just 50% deadlier and not more transmissible, then you would expect an additional 64 people to have died. But if instead of being deadlier, the virus is instead just 50% more transmissible, then the mortality is increased almost 7-fold. But separate COVID strains around the world are simultaneously becoming deadlier and more transmissible, and they'll be the dominant strains in the United States in March.